Happy Heart Week. We're back. Welcome to this week's episode of the Alter Your Health podcast, your source of information and inspiration to promote the holistic transformation of your health and the health of our planet. I'm your host, Dr. Benjamin Alter.
And I'm your co-host, Dr. Susanna Alter.
Sorry, so very sorry for those of you tuning in on Facebook and or Instagram. We just had some technical difficulties. We were just a few minutes in, so we decided to restart, reboot, and we're back at it.
We're in the middle of a blizzard right now, so that might explain the bad connection earlier.
Yeah, I wonder if that does have anything to do with it. But it is Heart Week, and we are going to dive into all things concerning the heart. Actually, not all things, a lot of things, but we have recorded multiple episodes previously talking about the heart. The first was episode number 4 with Dr. Daniel Chung. And then we did a Alter Your Health live where we talked about healing the heart with food and love. And that was a couple months ago. And then Dr. Chung actually came back and talked all about cholesterol. And I think that was episode 62, but I'll put that specific in the show notes for you at alter.health/podcast. But this week, we're going to talk more about some nuances when it comes to heart health and healing the heart, specifically talking about palpitations, as some people have been asking questions about heart flutters and hormonally induced heart palpitations. We're also going to talk about healing the heart after a heart attack. Someone asked a question about that. And then just touching again on lowering cholesterol naturally with food, or without drugs, I should say. But first, we want to give a little bit of promotion again for ourselves, because that's what this is all about. It's our podcast, so we get to say what we want. And what we're going to tell you is that we've got a weekly group coaching program that has been going for a few weeks now. And what else do you want to say about it, Susanna?
In these group sessions, we talk all about nutrition, lifestyle, and mind-body wisdom. And we answer whatever questions the participants have. We allow them to share openly about their experience with their healing journey right now. And it creates a really supportive community for those people who are really wanting to either reverse disease or just experience optimal wellness through lifestyle and nutrition. And so it's great for those who also want a little bit of accountability. And it's in service to so many people out there, and also in service to us, because we learn through your healing experiences as well.
We're in this together, and we love it. And the great thing about it is, this podcast is great. We love talking about things that we love. But I think what we enjoy more is actually connecting with you. I know you're out there. I know you're listening. But we like seeing your face, we like hearing your voice, we like having a conversation. And we like to do that in kind of a safe space that is closed, encapsulated, and not just totally broadly distributed around the world. So that's what the group coaching is good for. And now back to the show.
Yes.
So once again, like I said, we kind of got disrupted. We were just starting before. And we wanted to start with the topic of heart rate variability. So, as I'll explain again, heart rate variability it's essentially the variability of your heart rate, because your heart rate does vary. A lot of people think that your heart rate just goes lub-dub, 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 just all day, every day. And while it kind of does that, there is some variation to it. It sounds maybe something like this: lub-dub, 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 something like that, give or take. And the reason why that variation occurs is because the heart is innervated by a very special nerve that maybe some people are familiar with. It's called the vagus nerve, and it's a cranial nerve which originates in our brain and comes all the way through down the spinal cord and innervates pretty much every internal organ, including the heart, including the lungs, including all aspects of the digestive tract, the liver, the pancreas, the adrenals, and everything. So this input from the brain, from the top down, kind of puts the brakes on the heart rate. And And what that means is that it's a parasympathetic nerve. So it is kind of this rest and digest branch of the autonomic nervous system. And and when that is activated, fully activated, and we talk about vagal tone, and when it's tonified and when it's clear, and when the highway, the neural pathways are clear and clean, we've got this really regular heart rate variability that has variation to it, because it has a lot to do with our breath. And when we take a breath in, our heart rate actually speeds up a little bit, because the sympathetic nervous system dominates for just a brief second. And then when we exhale, our heart rate slows back down to its normal state, because the vagal nerve is more activated. So we want to make sure that we have a regular varying heart rate. And there's a lot of devices that are available to measure heart rate variability. There's actually a new app that I just tuned into. And I guess you put your finger on the camera, on the flash, and it measures your heart rate through the light. And it kind of shows you what your heart rate variability is like. And then there's, it's phenomenal. And then there's the HeartMath Institute, which is, a whole organization that has been dedicated to studying heart rate variability, amongst other things concerning the heart and holistic heart treatment and prevention and everything. And HeartMath Institute sells a device that connects to body parts that can measure your heart rate variability as well. But, I don't have one of those devices, though I have played around with them in the past. I think that the best thing that we can do without a device is just tune into our breath. And if we think about it, a lot of people are walking around kind of not really breathing most of the day. We've got these big lungs, if you can see me, that fill up our whole body. But a lot of people only use 10, 15, 20% of our lung capacity, and in a way that's not very regular. Maybe we'll hold our breath for 20 seconds, and then we'll kind of pant for a few breaths, and then we'll kind of hold our breath again. And there's not much regularity and fluidity to our breath throughout the day, by and large, for a lot of people. So for me, heart rate variability really starts with being more mindful and conscious to the regular breathing patterns, and kind of using more of our lung capacity, and really focusing on lengthening exhales, which supports that vagal tone, because when we are exhaling, once again, that's when the vagus nerve is active and tonified. And there's other things that we can do. I know singing is really a really good exercise to stimulate the vagus nerve, which runs down kind of the vocal cords in front of the neck.
Or just humming.
Gargling water, I've been told. These kind of things, have been shown to be really effective in stimulating and promoting healthy vagal tone, which is really, once again, really important for that heart rate variability. And there have been some studies that show that this heart rate variability is super duper important when it comes to preventing all sorts of diseases, from heart disease to pretty much any other chronic disease. And the reason why, you could probably guess, is because when our vagal nerve is tonified and we have enhanced and optimal heart rate variability, we are supporting the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the aspect of the nervous system that allows the body to heal, allows the immune system to stay active. So it just makes sense that with healthy heart rate variability comes a healthy rest of you. So that's pretty much that when it comes to heart rate variability, unless, Susanna, you have anything to shed on that.
I think you covered it.
Cool.
That's great.
Cool. Covered it. Now I'm getting into some questions that I asked. I put out, a thing on Instagram for people to kind of submit questions concerning the heart. A few people got back to me, which is good. Some questions about heart flutters and heart palpitations. So flutter and palpitation kind of are more or less the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. So Susanna, do you want to start talking about what heart palpitations are, some reasons for heart palpitations?
Sure. Well, if we actually look at the physiology of what's happening in the heart during a palpitation, there's essentially kind of what we call like a PVC, a premature ventricular contraction.
That's one. Yeah.
That's one of the most common reasons when people feel that little fluttering in the heart, and that can be caused most commonly by caffeine or by stress. It just means the electricity in the heart is for a split second a little bit wonky, and you feel it. Other people can really feel it during intense like panic attacks, when there's a really, really high surge of stress going through the body. We got a specific question about feeling these palpitations in the nighttime, and that's certainly, you know, I think a little palpitation here and there is kind of a common thing to experience, very normal. But if it's happening every night or regularly, then it's definitely something to probably get worked up and to just see what is going on, excuse me, with the electrical conduction of the heart. And the best way to test that is with an EKG, or sometimes the cardiologist will recommend a 24-hour Holter, which is basically an EKG that you wear for 24 hours straight, so that you can actually see what's happening also when you're sleeping.
Right. So the classic reason for, like you said, Susanna, for palpitations is some sort of electrical conduction nuance in the heart. And it's pretty much totally, you know, etiology unknown. There's no known reason why these electrical variations occur. Although there are some other potential causes of palpitations that don't have to do with electrical conduction that we wanted to focus a little bit on, because I don't know for sure, but I presume that those are much more common than the purely electrical conduction problems. And we should say that, you know, a heart, before we dive into that, we should say that palpitations and irregular heartbeats here and there, you know, maybe once a day, a couple times a week, that could be, you know, normal and healthy and just fine. Some people are just more sensitive, attuned, and aware of these abnormal heartbeats. Some people might have them and they have no idea. But when it becomes an issue is when, do you remember what percentage? When it's something, when, you know, like 5% of our heartbeat is kind of irregular, then it becomes something that needs to be addressed, you know, either pharmacologically or surgically, or, you know, some intervention at least by a cardiologist, or obviously there's other approaches as well. But, you know, there is that line between normal, like palpitation here and there, and pathological. Now, there are a lot of, when it comes to normal, you know, quote unquote palpitations, there's the electrical abnormalities that, you know, we talked about. And then there's another theory that has been brought forward. To my awareness, the only person that I've seen kind of talking about it is Anthony William, medical medium. And he talks about one predominant reason for heart palpitations is thick blood. And it really makes sense when you think about it, because it just makes sense. You know, if you think about our you know, cardiovascular system as kind of a plumbing system, and it's really not. And we'll touch on at the end of this conversation why our cardiovascular system is not just like a plumbing system, and we can't just like fix a pipe and everything's fine. But if you think about thick blood running through our arteries from our heart, then you could imagine what could happen when the blood is coming back into the heart, and the heart is having to handle this kind of more sludgy, and it's not sludgy, you know, it might just be a little bit more viscous, but it provides a little bit more stress to the heart potentially, and it causes the heart to kind of respond in a way that might be a missed heartbeat or a skipped heartbeat or something like that. And once again, not like life-threatening, pathological. A lot of times there's no known cause of that. So sorry, Facebook, we lost you just for a second. But we were talking about thick blood causing palpitations, and it kind of makes sense when you think about, the plumbing system of the heart and the cardiovascular system. And we do know what could potentially cause thick blood, right? So let's talk about thick blood and what causes thick blood.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly kind of the first thing that comes to mind also in the conventional world of medicine is cholesterol. And high cholesterol in the blood is going to create thicker, more viscous blood. So on this alternative theory, there's also other things that can thicken the blood, such as waste products from pathogens, mainly viruses and other bacterial.
Just pretty much anything that flows through the blood. Like the more you have in your blood, the thicker it's gonna be. Ideally we just have blood cells, red blood cells, white blood cells, proteins and then like really teeny molecules, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, when there's all this other junk,
toxins, environmental toxins.
Yeah.
But I think a big piece that Anthony William talks about is the toxins that are a byproduct of a viral infection, mainly taking place in the liver.
Mm-hmm.
And also when the liver is impaired, it's not able to filter the blood as well. It just perpetuates this kind of thick blood moving through the heart.
Mm-hmm. And we had another question coming in about hormonally mediated palpitations, which is very much consistent with thick blood kind of scenario. Because if we think about the blood thickening and the liver being responsible for purifying and cleansing the blood, when hormones are imbalanced, or in excess, usually estrogen, right? When there's estrogen excess, that provides more of a stress on the liver, and the liver isn't able to filter and process and purify the blood as well and as efficiently. So that might lead to set the stage for some of these hormonally mediated palpitations, which, cardiologists, like the person said, the cardiologist shrugs their shoulders. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But this thick blood syndrome scenario kind of does make sense if we consider that, well, when the hormones are in excess, the blood is going to be thicker because of the liver once again. So,
and also to add to the hormonal piece, when we're menstruating, 80% of the immune system goes to the reproductive system because the reproductive system requires so much energy during that time of the month. So if the immune system is dealing with the reproductive system, it's not going to be dealing with those other pathogens that are creating all of those byproducts and toxins in the blood, which could then also ramp up the amount of stuff in the blood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys as much as it does to us. Once again, this isn't sort of any, science-based, evidence-based proven fact. This is very much theoretical. And the fact of the matter is, as we've talked about in prior episodes, sometimes we have to think outside of the box, because when we stay in the box, we just kind of bounce around and go nowhere. And a lot of people stay sick when we stay inside the box. So in order to heal, I think we just got to take a step outside the box. So that's what we like to do on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So please don't judge us for doing so. We're not saying that this is the way. We're just exploring other possibilities. And when it comes down to it, it kind of does, to me at least, it kind of doesn't matter what is actually the underlying cause of a palpitation or anything else, because when it comes to healing, the medicine that we're talking about is effective regardless of what the quote unquote root cause might be. And what that is cleansing, purifying the blood, supporting the liver, eating lots of fruits and vegetables, supporting the immune system and cleansing all these viral byproducts, and all the things that we know how to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because let's face it, I mean, there are so many supplements sold over the counter, electrolytes for the heart, certain nutrients for the heart, And they're all great at managing symptoms, but what they're not great at is reversing disease. And so what we talk about here is really a therapy for reversing disease.
Yeah, which leads maybe to like this other question of heart attack. Heart attack last November, fruits and vegetables to help heal the heart. My answer is yes, fruits and vegetables help heal the heart. I think the question is like, which fruits and vegetables help heal the heart? Well, according to this guy, who's one of our homies, Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, wrote the book Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease. He wasn't the first physician to...
Cardiologist.
He wasn't the first cardiologist to do this kind of thing. You know, Dr. Dean Ornish did. Nathan Pritikin kind of set up a clinic in the Los Angeles area early on in the 50s or 60s, I believe. Before my time, that's for sure. But anyways, you know, reversing heart disease has been done for a long time. It's actually one of the only chronic diseases that conventional medicine has really made the statement, this disease can be reversed. It can be reversed, and it can, you know, very consistently be reversed with this sort of approach. And what Dr. Esselstyn prescribes is a whole food, plant-based, no salt, oil, sugar diet. And that diet is naturally low in fat, naturally high in complex carbohydrates, naturally really high in fiber. It supports the body in healing itself. It supports the heart as it supports the liver, as it supports the digestive system. We can't heal the heart without healing all other parts of the body. So while this is Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, it really is prevent and reverse pretty much every disease on the planet, because we are one organism, and when the heart heals, everything else heals, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we want to focus on after a heart attack, before a heart attack, anytime. We want to focus on lots of fruits and vegetables. Dr. Esselstyn loves his green leafy vegetables. He loves, apparently, according to Dr. Chung, who was on the podcast a few weeks back, Dr. Esselstyn says, if you wake up in the middle of the night for a midnight snack of kale, that's just fine. He says that you should be eating green leafy vegetables 4 times a day. And that is honestly more than I do. So, so maybe I should pick it up a notch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a saying that there are 2 kind of cardiologists, vegans and those who haven't read the research.
Yes.
And that just goes to show you that the research on a whole food plant-based diet for reversing heart disease is so solid. And honestly, I can think of many conventional cardiologists that do really endorse this kind of way of eating. I can't say that for other specialties, unfortunately.
Yeah. But once again, if you consider that when you heal the heart, chances are the rest of the body is healing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, can we just kind of team up, come to one team,
right,
and stand behind whole food plant-based?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's my thought on the matter, at least. Obviously, everyone's got their own philosophy. The next question is lowering cholesterol without prescription drugs. And the same can be said for that, you know, same approach. Essentially, we want to focus on 2 things. The first step is removing cholesterol from the diet. And cholesterol comes in none other than animal products. No cholesterol can be found in food.
In plant foods.
In plant foods, in plants. So then after you remove the cholesterol coming in, then we want to focus on foods that naturally allow the cholesterol to be detoxified and removed through the, you know, from the bile, through the digestive tract. And those kind of foods are high in fiber, you know, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, flax seeds. There are some supplements like niacin that, you know, some people take to help lower cholesterol. I think that once someone focuses on a WFP, no salt, oil, sugar diet, they probably don't need any sort of supplementation to manage a healthy cholesterol level.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about it in terms of the questions we got. And we also talked about heart rate variability and the vagus nerve, which in my, from my perspective, that really ties the mind and the body together, the heart and the mind together. And I think that it's having that awareness is a really empowering and powerful tool to support the body and healing on all levels when it comes to your heart, when it comes to everything else. Once again, this is Heart Week, but we're not reductionistic. We're not cardiologists, and we're not reductionistic thinkers. We think about everything.
Mm-hmm. And James, thank you for your comment.
Yeah, thanks for your comment, James.
The good question to ask people is, are you looking to manage symptoms or looking to reverse disease? Exactly. And I know we're always looking to help people reverse disease. So that's why we focus on lifestyle and diet. And this kind of diet that we're talking about, whole food, plant-based, no oil, this is exactly the kind of diet that we're talking about in our group coaching. So if you know someone who is needing more of this in their life and is kind of intimidated, the coaching is a really great way to ease into it and to learn in a supportive way and to have all your questions answered by two doctors who live and breathe this kind of lifestyle. So we just love it so much and want to share it with the world.
We love it so much. We do. And we love you so much. And we are very grateful for all of you guys tuning in for this special Heart Week episode of Alter Your Health Live. And
we got a fact check.
Fact check. Thank you.
Yes.
It is so we've got a few other episodes when it comes to heart health. Number 4 and number 62 with Dr. Daniel Chong. And the other one, I'm not sure. The other one we talked about
heart health.
Heart health.
The other one we talk about a really, really interesting case about a town in Pennsylvania, Roseto. And this case talks all about how community and love is also so important for heart health.
We could go on and on about that, and we won't this time because this is a snippet episode, but we look forward to tuning in next time on Alter Your Health Live.
Yay.
Next week, same time, same place. And for more on this episode, for more on all episodes, go to alter.health/podcast. You'll find the list of, 71 episodes.
What?
I know. It's almost, it's crazy.
All
Anyways,
right.
we look forward to seeing you next time, and we hope that you have a really happy, healthy rest of your day and rest of your week. Eat lots of fruits and vegetables and focus on those greens, like Dr. Esselstyn would say.
Keep that heart healthy.
Bye for now.
All right. Bye,
Till
guys.
next time. Peace and love.